Hello, this is Mark from Spanish Property Insight with an update on Euribor last month, which was November 2022. Euribor is, of course, the base rate used to calculate most Spanish mortgage interest payments. You typically pay Euribor plus a rate that reflects your mortgage conditions. So when Euribor goes up or down, so do your monthly payments if you have a variable rate mortgage, which the majority of borrowers do. Interest rates have a big impact on the housing market as most people need financing to buy property. And it also can make sense to use financing even if you don't need it in times of low or negative real interest rates like the present. So what happened to Euribor in November 2022? Let us go to the charts and have a look. So here we see in the 11th month, which is November of 2022, Euribor was 2.828, which was a month-on-month increase of 7.6%. Now, if we keep looking at this page and the charts, you can see what the trend in Euribor has been going back to 1999. And what concerns us is the most recent period. So this year you can see one of the most steep increases, certainly the steepest increase in Euribor since the common currency was introduced. There have been times of very steep declines, like here when the financial crisis hit. There was a serious and steep decline as the European Central Bank lowered rates. But in terms of an increase, we've got nothing to, there's no precedent in the lifetime of the euro for this kind of an increase, this steep increase. It went from negative in December of last year, it was minus 0.5, and it hasn't stopped increasing since then, and reaching 2.8 in November of this year. Now, as a result, anyone with a typical mortgage in Spain, and a typical mortgage would be, let's say, 120,000 for 20 years, a variable rate mortgage, annually resetting in November, will see their monthly mortgage payments increase by around €185 a month, which will be painful for many. Where are we heading? Bank Interest Spanish lender says they expect Euribor to peak at around 4% in mid-2023 and then fall to 2.2% in 2024. But what do they know? The Spanish Vice President of the European Central Bank, Luis de Guindos, seen here on the left with his boss Christine Lagarde, I think, who's the head of the ECB, said last week that the European Central Bank plans to continue increasing base rates because the increases so far have not been enough to tame inflation, and they will continue increasing the base rate of the Eurozone until they get inflation under control, which for them means down to around 2%. When will that be? De Guindos said, "I'll be perfectly honest, I do not know." So it looks like more pain for borrowers with high inflation and rising borrowing costs in 2023. That is going to have an impact on the Spanish housing market because higher borrowing costs reduce demand. It's just a fact. Thank you for tuning in.